Scar! Brother, help me!
Long live the king.
Scar, a villain once perceived as a one-dimensional antagonist, is revealed to have a far more complex and tragic backstory than the Lion King initially led fans to believe. Recent additions to the franchise, including various shows and books, have shed light on Scar's past, unveiling not just his transformation into the villain we know, but also the heartbreaking events that shaped him. One of the most enduring mysteries surrounding Scar has always been the origin of his distinctive scar. For years, the most accepted explanation came from the 2007 book A Tale of Two Lions, which provided a glimpse into Scar's early life. Born Taka, meaning waste or trash in Swahili, Scar's life was defined by his constant comparison to his older brother, Mufasa. Taka, always overshadowed by Mufasa, grew resentful of his position in the Pride. In an attempt to shift the balance, he orchestrated a plan to provoke an altercation between his brother and a herd of water buffalo. However, the scheme backfired, and in the ensuing chaos, Taka was struck by one of the buffalo's horns, leaving him with the scar that would become his namesake. Though this explanation offers some insight into his tragic life, recent revelations, particularly in The Lion Guard, delve even deeper into Scar's troubled past. According to the show, Scar wasn't always the villainous figure we came to know. Before he became the infamous Scar, he was once known as Askari, a leader entrusted with protecting Pride Rock as the head of the Lion Guard. In The Lion Guard, an episode reveals that Askari was granted the Roar of the Elders, a powerful ability that solidified his role as the protector of the Pride. But as the series unfolds, Scar's story takes a darker turn. In a powerful moment, Scar, now a flame spirit, sings a song titled When I Became Scar, recounting the pivotal moments that led him from a noble protector to a power-hungry villain. In this rendition, Scar's original name, Askari, meaning soldier in East African languages, reflects his upbringing and role in the Pride. As the second son, Askari was never meant to be king. Instead, he was tasked with protecting his older brother, Mufasa, the true heir to the throne. Even from birth, Scar was destined to live in Mufasa's shadow, a fate that would leave deep emotional scars. Despite his position, Askari was not consumed by resentment, at least not initially. His loyalty to the Pride and his connection with the Roar of the Elders suggested a genuine desire to serve and protect. However, his life took a tragic turn when an encounter with a mysterious lion led him down a dark path. The lion, a manipulative figure, proposed a plan. Together, they could overthrow Mufasa and take Pride Rock for themselves. Intrigued by the promise of power, Askari, who had always been second in line, allowed his ambition to cloud his judgment. This decision, driven by arrogance and desperation, would seal his fate. In the song, Scar explains that the mysterious lion led him into a trap. Hidden within the shadows, a venomous snake ambushed Scar, biting him on his left eye. The attack left him severely injured, but the betrayal didn't end there. The lion who had lured Askari into the trap offered him a cruel bargain, the antidote for the snake's venom, if Askari would pledge his allegiance to the lion, no matter the cost. But here's the thing, Askari never actually agreed to help the mysterious lion. He was merely intrigued by the proposition, curious but not committed. So when he was betrayed by someone clearly trying to manipulate him, Scar lost his temper. In the song When I Became Scar, Mufasa's brother describes how the attack pushed him to the brink. Enraged, Askari unleashed the full power of the Roar of the Elders, an act that, in his words, destroyed them. This moment is significant because it exemplifies how Scar wasn't inherently evil. Rather, it's his heartbreaking journey that slowly transformed him into the villain we know. The Lion Guard established that the rules of the Roar of the Elders were simple. It was forbidden to use the power against your own pride, or to kill a lion. Yet, Scar did just that when he used it on the two threats that betrayed him. However, his use of the Roar didn't lead to immediate consequences. It didn't strip him of his power. That came later, adding another layer to his tragic fall. In his song, Scar recounts how, after eliminating the threats, he returned to Mufasa, expecting some acknowledgement for his bravery. But instead of gratitude, Mufasa dismissed his actions and mockingly dubbed him Scar, referencing the injury that now marked him. This moment was pivotal for Askari, as it shattered his admiration for his brother. In that instant, he rejected the idea that Mufasa should be king, and it was then that Askari, now Scar in his own heart, began to distance himself from his family, nurturing the seeds of resentment that would lead to betrayal. But even then, the story doesn't end. Scar's quest for vengeance came with a heavy cost. As he embraced the villainous role that Disney had introduced in The Lion King, the very power that made him unique would soon be taken from him. The song, When I Became Scar, delves into this loss, how he eventually lost the Roar of the Elders, which could have given him the upper hand over Mufasa. The event that led to his downfall was an attempted coup against Mufasa, where Scar used the Roar on his own comrades in the Lion Guard. This time, however, the Elders deemed his actions evil. The consequences were swift. Scar was stripped of the Roar and cast out from Pride Rock. Banished, he sought refuge among the hyenas in the elephant graveyard, a place far from the pride and everything he once knew. At this point, the name Askari faded from memory, and the name Scar became his identity, forever tied to the pain of his past. Despite the darkness that overtook him, Scar's treatment of the hyenas reveals that he wasn't entirely without compassion. While the other lions and animals of Pride Rock despised the hyenas, Scar saw value in them and provided for them. Even as he plotted his rise to power, he took care of his hyena companions, feeding them despite his anger toward them when they failed him. Now, you might argue that Scar's treatment of the hyenas in The Lion King, especially toward the end of the film, paints him as ruthless and manipulative. And it's true that by then he had become a cruel, power-hungry figure. But it's crucial to understand that his anger, while destructive, didn't always come from malice. Scar's fury often stemmed from a place of betrayal and resentment, feelings he'd harbored for much of his life. The hyenas weren't exempt from his wrath, but they were more often the victims of his frustration rather than his cruelty. So, does Scar's tragic backstory redeem his actions? Does his painful journey make up for his ultimate betrayal as one of Disney's most notorious villains? That's up to you to decide. Let us know what you think in the comments below.